Hello! Welcome to class, everybody. So it's been requested that I make a short video to explain how to do density for those who have not been trained how to do it. So I'm going to make a short video. I will keep it as short as possible to explain how we do this. So as of right now, we gather density measurements on several things, and those are the precipitation tank, the softening tank, the lime slurry, and the clarifier overflow. The equation is the same for all of them, but each one is slightly different, and I will go through each one individually to show you how to do it. So for me, in order to understand why I'm doing something, I kind of like to understand a little bit of the background. So I'm going to share with you the equation that the DCS automatically performs when you enter the values. So this is it, the simple equation. Density equals mass over volume, which simply put means how much does it weigh, how much liquid is in there. So let's take a trip out to SPS. It's going to be loud out there, so I won't do much talking. I will show video and add subtitles to explain what I'm showing you. Then we'll come back inside and I'll perform the density measurements. So here we are at the precipitation tank. We have an auto sampler, which is this, and we have a manual sample valve, which is there. We're going to take this bottle labeled precip, attach it to here, make sure it's tight. We're going to come over here to this PLC. We're going to hit the auto function, and it will sample 25 times while purging to obtain your sample. When the batch is completed, we'll say batch done. That's when you will be removed from the sample box. Okay, so I'm here back in the lab. I have my 3 samples. As you can see here, I have my precipitation, my softener, and my lime. And we're going to perform the density test. So the first thing you do before you take your sample is you're going to get a container that's big enough to hold your sample. You're going to place it on the balance. You're going to zero this. You're going to remove it from the balance. Select your sample. Pour your sample into the container that you want to weigh. Remember I said earlier, mass over volume. So how much does it weigh? How much liquid is there? Put all this junk in there, and we're going to weigh it. So we're going to take this value here, and we're going to record it under the precip slurry density logbook.
Now for the fun part.
So now for the fun part. 2 empty containers, 1 full container. The reason for that is we want to try to get as much clear liquid into one and the rest of this junk in the other. And I'll show you why in a little bit. So you have those 3 items. You're going to get a 100 milliliter graduated cylinder, and we're going to pour this into this to the 100 milliliter mark while not letting the meniscus rise above the 100 milliliter mark. So that's 100. 200. 300. Now roughly 300 milliliters is good enough to put into your clear container, and you can put the remainder into the other container, and I'll show you why here in a little bit. So when you get down towards the end of your precipitation, you get into this slurry nonsense here, and it can become foamy. You don't want to count the foam in your calculation, so carefully swirl the cylinder here to get those solids to kind of settle out to the bottom, or maybe even towards the middle, so you can actually see the meniscus reading in the cylinder. So now that we've measured out the rough density, we're going to measure out an exact density. And we're going to achieve that by using this syringe, filter your product into a volumetric flask of 100 milliliters. And we're going to do that up to this line when the meniscus is touching this line. And we do that by extracting the fluid, the clear fluid, from your beaker and ejecting that into the flask. So this will take roughly 2 syringes full in order to fill it up. But the most important part in doing this measurement here is to not exceed the white line with the meniscus. Now the meniscus is the bottom part of water when it's in a cylinder, kind of like a little bowl, if you will. So we'll do that. And I shall pause this, and when I'm finished filling this up, I will show you what it looks like. Okay, so now I have filled this up. I'm going to attempt to show you the meniscus at the bottom of the white line. The video doesn't really, hopefully you can see that. Now what I did forget to mention is the same thing that I did with this before I poured the liquid in. You do with this. You put it on the balance, you zero the balance, remove it, and then fill it up. And that's how we get our true mass over volume, which today is 105.4, which is pretty low. So that's how we do density for the precipitation tank. Now hopefully I didn't leave anything out that was important. I tried not to, but I've been doing this for a little while, and sometimes I do things without thinking about it. So if you notice that I didn't explain something, please feel free to email me and let me know, and I will correct that to give you a better understanding on how to do this. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.